And I'll be truthful. I said, my job is to win. Their job is to play. And I know that, yeah, they're the ones making the plays, but that means if we didn't win, it's my fault. And I tell them, you guys are undefeated. I'll take every loss. The wins are on you because you guys are the ones battling out there. And I'll tell them, even sometimes when you lose, it's a win.
Welcome to the JAMODI Podcast. Today we're joined by the head boys basketball coach at Hanks High School in El Paso, Coach Mauricio Perez. Coach Perez is in his 24th year of coaching and his 13th as a head coach. Prior to Hanks, he led San Elizario High School to 3 district championships and 4 by-district wins. Since arriving at Hanks, he's guided the Knights to a district title and playoff appearances in each of his first 3 seasons. Coach Perez is a 2-time 1-4A Coach of the Year and a 1-time 1-5A Coach of the Year. Before we hear from Coach, take a moment to subscribe to our podcast and follow us on social media at JAMODI Podcast. Coaches, the JAMODI Podcast is powered by Grip Spritz. Grip Spritz makes the annoying parts of coaching easy. Stop peeling off sticky sheets every time a player subs in. Grip Spritz provides game-long grip with no in-game maintenance at half the cost of a traditional sticky pad. The Grip Spritz Court Mop ensures your court is clean, safe, and ready to play on instantly. Weighing less than 10 pounds, anyone on your team or staff can clean the entire court in under 10 minutes. JAMODI Podcast listeners save 10% with code JAMODI at gripspritz.com. Coach, first I want to thank you so much for giving up your time coming on a Sunday afternoon. We were both, before we got on here, talking about the weather that we've seen. We both have snow, and which in, central Texas or, when I was at Dallas-Fort Worth, we didn't see it that often. I bet you see it a little bit more. Just want to thank you so much for this. Had the pleasure of getting to play against you and your team in a tournament this year and was so impressed by you and your players. And again, just thank you for your time.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me on.
Well, tell me a little bit about, since we played in the Georgetown, the Jack Frost tournament. That's over. Golly, that's a month and a half ago now or so. Tell me how things have been going for you and your team since then.
You know what? We've been playing extremely hard. Again, we're a little bit undersized this year. So we're trying to fix our rebounding as far as offensive boards, so that's really what's been getting us. But I mean, the kids give me 100%. Right now, we just finished the first round of our district play, and we're currently in 4th place. We're 3-3, currently in 4th place, hitting against Parkland on Monday. So we dropped 3 in a row before winning Friday against Horizon, and we just kind of hit a wall. Our shooting went cold. Bad time to have a bad game, right? We played really well against El Dorado, which is in 2nd place. So hopefully we can split with either El Dorado Americas and get some type of kind of push us up to 3rd place, because we would really love to host a game.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, your guys did play so hard. But that was one thing we had a very short turnaround from getting to play the game before in the tournament to finding out we were playing you. And that was the thing that my assistant coaches talked about too. And any film that we got to see was just how hard you guys played. And then we got to witness it firsthand. When you say fix rebounding, obviously you want to get more offensive rebounds. You want to stop them from getting more offensive rebounds. And the coach from UCLA had a great video about because I guess he was being asked about rebounding. And he said, you know what, can't really do much about it except for remind them, because rebounding is about heart and effort. Is there anything else you're doing though to create a better rebounding team?
You know what? We're actually now creating contact. So we go up and down. We start with shell drill. Then the defense is live. The offense is standing still. And then when we say live, we start going, and then we'll go up and down for like 6 minutes, and we'll count the offensive rebounds on whatever rebounds we missed. And we have a sprint and we kind of motivate them. And I tell them, look, if you create contact and I see that you try to box out, it won't count. It's when you're just turn around and stand, then that's the one we're going to count as an offensive rebound. Oh, they did a better job this weekend. But I mean, my tallest guy is 6'2". My guards are 5'8", 5'9". So it's really tough. But I tell them, if you really push out, as long as it just maybe miss it by an inch or a half an inch, they won't get the board. So we've been doing that. And just like you said, we talk about heart during film session with huddle. I'll go to the offensive rebounds and we'll look at what we were lacking and we try to fix it, you know?
I love the idea of having them play a live game, but that's the emphasis. I think I'm guilty of what, and this could be in any part of the game. We need to get better at this, but not really addressing it in practice. Maybe watching film of the game, you could make them just run for all the offensive rebounds they gave up in the game, but addressing that habit in practice and trying to build it in a little game like that where there's a consequence, like you said, for not doing that thing. And the way that I've gone in the past, and I don't know if it's worked great yet or not, but is give offensive rebounds 3 points. So if we're going to play a game to 11, no matter if it's a half court or full court game, and you get offensive rebounds for your team, you're really getting them close to winning. My hope there, coach, is that they want to win so much that not only do they crash more, but we also hit and get more off defensively. But that's been one of our three things too. You have a 6'2" guy. I am blessed to have two 6'3.5" guys, 6'4".
Yeah.
But I felt that when we've got into district play here at 6A, that's just not big. It's not very big at
Yeah.
all. But we can still, like you said, make contact, have to do that, pursue the ball, and then maybe even gang rebound where it's all five of us against maybe the three or four that they have crashing. But I don't think I'm
Correct.
great at it, but we're getting better.
And one of the things that it's hard for them to understand is I tell them rebounding is not about size. And I said, and
Yeah.
I'll ask them a question. I'll be like, what is your job as far as when you box out? And all of them, or 99% of the time, they'll tell me, like, well, to get the rebound. And I said, you're absolutely wrong. I said, your job is to make sure that your man doesn't get the rebound, not
Mm.
for you to get the rebound. If the rebound comes to you, that's fine. It'll land in your hands. I said, but teaching them the right base to get a nice wide base. And I tell them, aim for a knee. If you push the knee, no matter how big they are, they're going to move. I said, but if you're in their hip, that means you're not low enough and you're not going to move anybody. And they're just going to come right over you and grab it the way they have over the last 20 games for us. So that's one of the main things that we really, I think this past game, finally our base really got wide. And then I tell them, you got to, now I said, the last part is I tell them, you got to get your chicken wings. I said, because they're doing this, they're trying to grab. And I said, you got to get chicken wings so your reaction to go up is a
Yeah.
lot quicker.
Hands are up. Yeah. I
Exactly.
always tell my players a story of when in my 20s at apartment complex I lived, we would play pool volleyball outside of, with we're all in our 20s, these adults and stuff. And so we're playing pool volleyball. It's a low net. There's one rule, coach, in pool volleyball is you got to have your hands out of the water, because if your hands are in the water when that hit comes, you can't raise them quick enough to get in your face or to block it. And you're going to get smashed. And so we're reminding each other when we're playing this pool volleyball, hands out of the water, so that we're up. And I think volleyball is very similar, or basketball is similar. Sorry. Like
Yeah.
when you said have their hands down and wrapping, we've all seen those tough, quick rebounds come out, and we're not quick enough getting our hands up to actually grab the thing or tip it or keep it alive. So that's I haven't thought of that story in a long time about the water volleyball, but I need to bring that back to my
Yeah.
guys.
And then the last thing that we've done, and I kind of got away from it. I started doing it at the beginning of the year. So what I do is I do shell drill, but I use tennis balls. So then I
Mm.
tell them, one, you can hand check. So now you're here because you're holding a tennis
Yep.
ball. And then the second thing, when the shot goes up, you really can't rebound, because if you try to catch it with a tennis ball, well, you're not going to grab the ball. So I said, now the focus is we box out, and when the ball bounces on the floor, the game's over. That means you did your job. So, and I kind of got away from that drill, and I think I need to bring it back out right now that we were talking about it.
Telling you, man, like one of my favorite things about getting to do this is I feel sometimes like, I don't know if you've ever watched the show House, that doctor show from years ago, but
Yes.
he had this team, and the team would throw ideas out. And now he's listening to these ideas, things are kind of forming, and then he sees it. I feel like sometimes I'll remember things that I used to do that I need to continue to do or do again based on something that the other coach says, or learn something completely new, which I do like that the tennis ball idea. I've seen it in one-on-one, but I liked it in a full shell setting. I didn't think about how it could help with rebounding, so that's really good.
Yeah. Yeah,
One thing
and
you did
hopefully,
too.
hope,
Go ahead.
yeah, hopefully we get it fixed because Friday we did a really good job with it. So
Yeah.
and I hope moving forward we just kind of get it done.
Yeah, it's really hard when you look at your team, and I think you feel the same way that as I do. They're playing hard and they're doing some good things, and they're really starting to. I think offensively, we're really starting to click, but there seems just to be one of those categories that are really important that are still holding us back, and ours is offensive rebounding or lack of, and then turnovers. Shooting hasn't been as good as I've obviously we all want better shooting, but we're shooting a good volume. And I typically only think more about volume than really percentages. We're getting it there. Like we were 7 for 38 the other day. And I'm like, I love the 38, but can we just hit a couple more? But they're not trying to miss. So that part I just have to believe will come. But it's the rebounding and the turnovers that, coach, when you look at our district and your district, there's not a huge difference between those teams that are at the top and those of us that are at the middle. And for us, it's actually, we're 6 points away from having two more wins the first round of district, just six, just one turnover, one. But those are the things that we all hope that our teams fix. But then I don't know about you. I feel the kind of responsibility for that of what can I do differently to reach them, to get them to value it more while stay because you like to play fast and so do I. So valuing the ball while keeping our pace and then hitting people, getting that ball back.
Yeah, and you know what? One of the things, and I had a meeting with my coaches, and I said, what really gets me is that we're playing really good defensively, but
Yeah.
then a team scores 60 on us or 70, and it's not because we're playing bad defensively; it's because we're allowing 20 points of offensive rebounds, and you're like, man, like it's a misconception of how good we're playing.
No doubt. That first shot, I almost feel like there needs to be a category for the first shot defense.
Yes.
Like what kind of shot did we create on the first one that they get? And for us, coach, we love it when it's a zero pass possession or a one pass possession and a guy's going one on one isolated. We love it when it's outside of the paint, inside the 3-point line, but everything has to be contested. And if we're doing that, I feel like those we're creating a lot of those possessions for them, but then it's you nailed it. It's for us, it's the second chance or it's the transition points off of our turnovers when it's harder to get back and get set. We're playing against pretty good athletes that are going
Yes.
to make us pay. I hear you.
Yeah, man. So, and like you said, I tell my kids, I said, we're losing games in 4 possessions. I mean, we lose by 12, you get 4 offensive rebounds, you get 8 points off it, or you get 6 points off it. You minimize them from scoring, and then you're scoring another 6 or 8 points. You're winning that game by 4 or 5 points. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah. And how do you go about it not making it sound like it's their fault? Right. Like, because it's us together. It's we. It's not you. And sometimes it's you as far as the team when they're playing great. You guys did great. And then, but then it's we when we're not reaching our potential. But I would get worried that by saying, like, hey, guys, make more shots and we got this thing. I try not to say anything like that, but I don't want to say things that make it like point it all on them. Maybe even more, they already feel that. But what do you do there?
over the years, I've learned, I mean, and I'll tell them like this. I say, being a coach is hard. I never feel like I'm winning. I'm up 24 and I'm like dying inside. I'm like, don't come back on me. But I tell them like, I said, and I'll be truthful. I said, my job is to win. Their job is to play. And I know that, yeah, they're the ones making the plays, but that means if we didn't win, it's my fault. And I tell them, you guys are undefeated. I'll take every loss. The wins are on you because you guys are the ones battling out there. And I'll tell them, even sometimes when you lose, it's a win. Like you said, we were down in Georgetown. We're really undersized. We're competing with everybody. We're putting a good product out on the floor, and we're putting a show. And to me, that's a win automatically, putting such a tough schedule together for my boys so they can understand exactly what it means to play basketball. And then I tell them, hey, fix what you need to fix individually and then put it together as a team. And I tell them basketball is very confusing because you want the team effort, but you also want the individual accolades. You want to score points. You want to, so it's like a selfish team game.
Yeah. Man, what a great way to put it. And I think the more that we can get them, like my college coach, and I've shared this before, my college coach said, it's you here, and he put us really low. And then he said, Baylor, the team up here. And he said, you see, you here, the team up here. And I was a pleaser, so I just bought into that. I know some of my teammates couldn't stand that. They're like, no, listen, I'm not the low thing here. I'm
Yes.
just as important, or in some of their minds, more important. So I think like the Jedi mind trick that you and I have to do is how do we get them thinking like this? It's the team goals, and then it's your goals traveling together. And then the way that you play, and I think the way that we're trying to play, they can maximize their individual skills and get the numbers and accolades they want while also helping us win, because those two things aren't in friction, right?
Correct. And you know what? The other day we had a really good conversation with him. We're watching film and then we kind of got to talking after film. And I told him, look, and again, going back to the selfish part as a player, I said, when I was a player, I wanted to get on that stat line. It didn't matter whether it was a steal, a rebound, a free throw, whatever it was, as long as I was on that stat sheet and I came out, then I was happy, as an individual player. Now, if we won, I was even happier. And what I told them is like, find your role. And when I was young, my coach told me, you're not part of the offense. I was a sophomore. I got moved up to varsity. He's like, you're not part of the offense. You're here for defense. You're not allowed to shoot threes, and you're not allowed to shoot on the offense. He told me, you can score two ways, a steal or an offensive rebound. If you get an offensive rebound, you can put it right back up. My sophomore year, I averaged 5 steals, 6 rebounds, and 10 points. And I never touched the ball in the offense. But I was like, I want to score. So then he gave me the tools to go score in the way he felt I needed to score, not in the way I thought I needed to score off the offense. Because we had really good players that were scorers. And in his view, I was more the defensive guy that year. Now, the next year, my role changed and I became a scorer as a junior. And then I kind of understood the mentality that he had towards me as a sophomore. I never took it like that was so mean that he told me that. No, it was absolutely the way the team was going to win. And he still gave me the ability to go and score points and get rebounds and become a defender. So it kind of made me a full player at that point.
Yeah. I do love the transparency that he had with you, letting you know exactly what was expected. I've asked players a question before of what would it take? What do you think it takes for you to get more playing time? And I've been surprised by the answers that they give, because a lot of them will say, I need to score more. Well, maybe that'd be great, but maybe that's not your role. Maybe that's not realistic. Maybe that player hasn't been in the gym and given the hours necessary or proven in practice that they can score, create, or do the things that they think needs more points. So then that's on us. One is that we're transparent and we talk to our players about, here are ways that you can add value, how you can make us go like this, like he did to you as a sophomore. Because I think what's frustrating for players is vague, or it's unclear what I need to do or what my coach wants of me. Daily, or not daily, but weekly meetings with players, checking in with them, checking for their understanding on that, I think is huge. But I also want to create a system where, yes, you like for you as a sophomore, you might not be scoring the way that you want or involved the way you want yet, but we're going to do skill work, and we're creating a style of play where when you show you can, man, like it's a blank canvas. You can just create, you can shoot with courage. And I think that's kind of what you're creating there.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
One thing, I just jotted this down, have more fun. What a great point you had about how, how tough coaching is, because you said you're up 24, but you can't let that joy really sneak in, or that peace, or that, oh, we got this, because you and I both know, especially when you play fast and you shoot a lot, you go on a cold spell and the other team finds some magic, that 24 is down to 12. And depending on the time left, we're competitive again. But how do we, coach, enjoy the process a little bit more, enjoy games more? Because I think I'm more on the line of you of this is just like if we do get a win, it's like, oh, whew, we did it. And if we don't, and then there's another level of stress with that. So, coach, my question is, how do we have more fun?
You know what? The fun comes right after the buzzer goes off. I'm like, oh, we won. Yes, let's go. And so I got my first job in 14, and we went from last place, and then we made the playoffs as the 4 seed. And then that year, Andres High School, which had Coach Forbes, which was my mentor, they were number 1 in the state, and we played them in the by-district round. And they put it to us pretty good, by a good 40 piece. We were down 15 at half, and one of my players comes out and says, Coach, they didn't look this fast in film. And when he put in the second team, I think the second team might be better. And I was like, I kind of chuckled, and it made me realize, like, these guys are giving me everything. Whether we lost by 40 or by 4 or whatever it was, they gave me everything. So that pretty much changed my style of enjoying the fact that if you have a team that can give you 100%, and I'm not 110%, no, give me 100%, period. That's it,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And by that year, I kind of understood, like, if these guys can go out and work as hard as they can, whether you go 0-30 or 15-15 or 28-3, whatever it is, as long as they're giving you 100% every game, because in athletics, you're going to lose some games. You're going to win some games. You're going to win games that you're not supposed to win, where the other team outplays you. You're just better talented. You know what I mean? So it really changed my mentality as a coach that wins. The pressure is on me, and I really want these boys to really enjoy basketball.
I think
And
that's the thing
when
is us enjoying it, but then not stealing their joy in the process. Us feeling that pressure, wanting them to win, but not putting more on it because it's not their job. And I watch myself or listen to myself on film, when if it's quiet enough and you can hear, or even just reflect back on timeouts or things that I've said, I wonder how much of this is me putting the pressure of my job on them and expecting them or wanting them to care as much. And I don't know about you, man. They think they do, but they really don't. But that's
yeah,
okay, right?
yeah, and again, like I tell them, I see it like band, okay, or dance, cheerleading, whatever you do, okay. You practice, you practice, you practice, and then you do a performance for your parents every Tuesday and Friday, and they're here to watch you. They're here to, and win or lose, your parents are gonna support you. And lately, I've been very proud of my parents because when we went in the 3-game losing streak, what I could hear from my parents, they were yelling at the kids, "Don't worry about the score. All we want is for you to play hard."
Yeah.
And to me, I really feel like the culture in my program after the 4 years that I've been here has really changed. And the focus is work hard, and then whatever comes about, that's what it is. Whether you missed a free throw, layup to win it, whatever it is, the game is in your hands. Enjoy it. You lose, there is nothing you can do about it. You can't go back to that game. We just showed them a video where they're talking about that, where you got to go to the next play. You can't live in the past. You got to move forward. If you live in the past, you're going to affect your present, and your future is not going to be as good. You got to make sure that you strive to move to the next play. And we've really turned the in my program with that. I really believe that. And I think if you do that, you enjoy it more, because then the next play, you have a good play and they're hyped and they already forgot about the bad play. So then it has really helped the program and my kids to really enjoy every second of the game. And we don't focus on the mistakes anymore. We just fix them and move forward.
The JAMODI Podcast is powered by Sideline Interactive. Sideline Interactive is the leading manufacturer for high-quality, innovative scoring tables and LED video display boards that help coaches and schools bring more excitement to fans, create huge fundraising opportunities, and make their jobs easier. Visit sidelineinteractive.com to check out their amazing products. What did you do to create that culture within your team, but then also trickle down to parents where they are saying and believing and reinforcing the things that you're probably telling your team too? Because I think it's pretty common sometimes for maybe the coach and the team to be in sync, but the parents that aren't at practices, that don't know everything, that only watch us those at that recital and are making their judgments based on that. What have you done to get them kind of in line with your vision and where the program's?
You know, one thing is that we create a really tough preseason schedule. So at times, like say the Georgetown game, and they were televised, and we had some parents down there, and they see the talent we're playing against, and they see their kids really performing and working really hard. And although you lost, the loss really goes out the window because, they gave it everything. And one of the things that I tell the kids, it's like, I told them, look, one thing, if you put the worst, like right now, the NFL playoffs and all that, I said, if you get Indiana to go play against the worst NFL team, who do you think's going to win? And they'll be like, well, Indiana's going to lose by 40. And I said, okay, so you got to understand within our levels, there are levels. You have 6A, you have 5A, you have small 5A. We have 1,300 kids in our 1,320 in our school. We missed it by 15 kids to go 4A. I said, so you're competing against bigger school. Sometimes, hey, the talent is better. There's in college, there's D1, D2, D3. Not that D3s or NAIAs or JUCOs aren't good. They're really good, but these guys are just a little better. I said, but what better way than to compete against the best talent or better talent and just give it your all? And if you win, great. If you lose, you really competed against a high quality team. And I think the parents see that and they embrace it and they love it. And we have open communication with the parents and a lot of things. I never say things that are negative. I really be like, hey, the kids are getting better. Hey, your son really did good. He didn't look nervous today. Even that alone is just a plus for the parents, like, oh yeah, they're making progress, you know.
I love that. Thank you for sharing because that's helpful. I think we all want our parents to appreciate the growth that their sons are making and then our team is making. And there's a great deodorant out there, which is winning, that makes everything just smell a little bit better, look better, feel better. But if that's not happening all the time, can still, like you said, we can still win and we can still feel like we're getting better. And I've asked my guys that this district play because it again, like many 9 or 10 games this year have gone, we've lost in less than 5 points. And so we're right there, fellas. We're so close and to taking that step. But to a man or a young man, they would all say, Coach, we're getting better. Like we're playing better now than we were a month or two ago. And that's success. And because I really care about what they think. But then, man, what makes it super powerful as a culture is if those stakeholders, which are the parents, if they're also believing in and saying the things that we're saying. That to me is a special recipe.
Yes, absolutely. And it creates that unity within the community and the just the tightness of it all.
Yeah.
So,
Yep. Man, well, speaking though of how hard and competitive you guys played against really good competition, we both played Capel in that Jack Frost tournament. And Capel, we didn't have our best athlete, and he leads us in a lot of categories for that game. But I still thought I would have liked us to be a little more competitive in it. But like you said, I mean, sometimes that just happens. But I watched that film. That was my first time seeing you all was against Capel. And they jumped out early, but you guys kept fighting and made it a game and made it super competitive. And one of the things that I really appreciated as a team that is aspiring to shoot the ball better, you guys shot with courage. Those guards you have, there was no fear, no second guessing of this is the shot that I'm allowed to shoot. And where I'm right on board with what they were doing, but I could see some coaches like, how are they shooting those shots? Like, why are they allowed to shoot that volume at that speed? But I think that's kind of what you guys are creating, and they're good at it. How do you create that shooting culture where they have so much courage just to let it fly?
so I'll be truthful. I focus a lot on defense, and to me, I've never seen a bad shot. You know what I mean? Like, pretty much what we try to do is in our offensive set, I tell them once all 5 players have touched the ball, it's fair game. And if you're
Mm.
open and you don't shoot it, I'm gonna pull you out. If you shoot it, I don't care whether you miss or make it. You just gotta make sure that that might be the best shot that we have available. So when there was a year we went like 23-8, and we were really good that year. And we were a 4A school out in San Elizario, which was my first job. And we were really good that year. And then I lost 8 seniors. And then the next year, we were really not very good. Okay, just to say. So then I had a vision of we're going to move the ball. We're going to make this a 20-20 game, 21-20. And then we would start moving the ball and we'd be doing good. And then we'd have an open shot and then we'd turn the ball over. So then I turned around and then I told my players, you know what? We're going to change our style. First shot available. I said, I would rather shoot it from half court and at least have a chance to score than to
That's
throw it
right.
away.
Yeah.
And we went from, say, we were at the beginning of the year, we were losing like 58-12, really bad. But then all of a sudden we started being competitive and we were losing like, 65-40. Well, at least we were putting 40 points up. And the kids were happy that they were putting points up. And the parents were happy that they were putting points up. So then I tell them, you will never see me take out a player for shooting a shot or taking a bad shot. I will not tell them, hey, bad shot, don't do that. Like my point guard went to a game and he went 0 for 13. Nothing was mentioned about that. That is not my concern. He knew what he did. Next game, he went, 8 for 12. And as long as there's no pressure on them, I think they're going to shoot comfortably. And most kids like to shoot. So,
Yeah. Yeah. No, I like that. I think you saw something that going to a fast-paced game I saw years ago, which was the longer we hold the ball in a possession, I feel like as that time goes up, our likelihood of turning it over is moving right up with it. Like, it's not like as time goes up, our efficiency stays, here or low. Like, I think we get a little more reckless. Defense gets a little bit more amped up. The pressure rises. So I love the idea of our goal is to shoot the best shot as fast as possible. So with that idea, well, you got to figure out what best shot is. So we got to talk about shot selection. And shot selection, in my opinion, is day one of school, everybody on the same page. Because like you said, you don't yell about the bad shot if he takes one. Well, I think the goal of that is for them to know that that was bad. There's no second guessing it. So we don't have to yell about it. Maybe just a reminder of, hey, rate that shot. And in our scale, a 6 is a contested shot. So if he says, yeah, it's a 6, I was like, okay, I agree. What can you do different? Man, I can lift, I can attack, I can move it. And then you can even get deeper into that. Okay, why did you feel like you had to take that 6? Well, coach, I haven't got the ball in a while. Everybody else is taking bad shots. I just wanted to get my own. Like, you start to get to some of those motivations that are a little bit deeper that maybe you really have to address, because if it's just a 6 and he knows it, I made a mistake. No worries. Let's go next one. But I love what you said about them not having the fear of shooting open shots, because how do we get them to shoot with courage? They need to know that they're allowed to take it.
Correct. And, the kids know who the best 2 shooters are. And I tell them
Ball knows, coach. The ball
if
seems to find those guys, right?
yes. And and then I told my younger guys, I said, if you know that Jacob's going to shoot 15 shots a game and you're open 3 times, well, take those 3 shots. Even if you miss them, at least they're going to defend you because you shot it. And if you wouldn't make 1 out of 3, you're helping the team tremendously. Like I don't think they understand that. They think like, no, Jacob needs to shoot every shot. No, take your 3 or 4 shots. Even if you go 0 for 4, at least you're defendable now. Where if you
Yes.
don't shoot at all, I'm gonna stay off you. I'm not
That's
gonna
right.
contest you. So I really, and then I really enjoy when they take the shots. It's fun. That's what they want to do. Every player goes into there's not one player that walks into the gym and starts working on defensive shuffles. They all get the ball, and the first shot they take is a three, you know?
Right. And I think that's one thing we can do is reward all of their hard work that they put in and all the time that we put in with shooting. If there's a guy out there that knows that I'm not really allowed to do this in a game, we'll talk about a lack of buy-in. Why work hard? Coach, you want me to shoot 10,000 threes, make 10,000 threes this summer. Why? I don't shoot threes. Right. So we got to create that buy-in of within our systems, they are working on what they get to do a lot and they know they're allowed to do it when they're open. But those ideas of they're not allowed to shoot or one guy has to take all the shots. I think you're right on the money. We want the illusion that everybody shoots threes, but not everybody shoots the same amount. And I found that the ball finds the best shooters because the best shooters are hunting their shots, actively searching for space, actively getting their hands and feet ready and then their teammates who want to get assists find them when they're open. Because in my opinion, open man is the most dangerous one on the floor. But it goes all back to how you communicated to those guys like you did.
Yeah. And little by little, my younger guys, because we're carrying 2 freshmen and 5 sophomores in varsity.
Yeah.
So they're starting to understand, and then I'm already hinting to them like, "Look, it's a process. Next year, you're gonna be Jacob and Matt. You're gonna get those 10 shots. So if you don't
Yeah.
take any shots this year, you're gonna struggle next year when you have to take them when they're not here anymore." So they kind of start progressing. And the other day we had one of our sophomores hit a huge three to they started making a run, and it was a fast break three. And most of my shooting drills are full court. So then he ran into the corner just like we do in the drill. And he grabbed it. Man, it looked beautiful. And then I called a timeout. We broke the run and I called a timeout, and I did it on purpose. We were up like 20, and then they made a run where they cut it to 14, and then we hit that three. So then I called a timeout just to tell him, like, that's a great shot. That's the way to do it. You stop the run. Let's get back on defense. And it really like elevated his play defensively after that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like he was so happy that I gave him kudos that his defense went up. And I think he got like a steal after that, and he got an assist. And it just really helped his game during the game.
Coach, that's a good nugget that we need to even, and you did it in game, which is hard to do, but we need to connect their successes in games on the floor to what we do in practice and make sure they know that you just did what we've been working on, like that guy with his sprinting and shooting, and then how it elevated the rest of the game. One of my favorite ways to do that is to pause film and ask the guys, hey, what drill is this? What's happening right now in the game? Because you and I probably practice very similar. We want to try to put them in. The breakdown drills are kind of gone because that was back in October and November. And we're just trying to simulate all of the situations that they may find themselves in, the 5-on-3s, the 4-on-3s, the 2-on-4s sometimes that they got to scramble with dudes chasing from behind. But I like to stop that game and be like, hey, what game is this? Oh, coach, that's 4-on-3 with 5 seconds. It's like, that's it. And look what you did. Like you did it. You had a guy get dangerous. You had a guy cut because there's no in between. The guy drove to score, but then got patient, picked it up, and found somebody with purpose. It's really fun to me to get to connect those. But I think you have to have you have an eye for what they're doing right, not always just what they're doing wrong. How did you get that eye where you were able to see that?
I think it's just over the years, you start putting all the drills together. And like I've had half court teams where they really don't push the ball. They're more like a 2-3 type of team. And the drills change. I mean, I'll do half court drills. We do a lot of half court offense. Right now, we are going up and down. So everything's full court. And I tell them I love the corner three. It's the hardest shot in basketball. So if you learn to do it, it's really hard to defend because then they really got to get deep in you. And then you can drive towards the middle and maybe get a nice pull up from the elbow or whatever it is. So then over the years, just the drills, I've had assistant coaches that put in drills for me. and they really work and I enjoy it. And then we kind of follow it. And this is what we want to do in games. You're sprinting to the corners. And then you're attacking and you're kicking into that corner. And if you don't have the shot, you're driving middle. That means if you passed it, you're hitting the opposite corner and you're going to get the three. And we're just kind of just emphasizing it in practice over and over and over. And we do I do 3-on-3 full court, just to widen the lanes, a lot of pick and rolls, hedging. Then we go 4-on-4 full court, then 5-on-5 full court without an offense. They run whatever they want. It's more like open gym. And we tell them we're going up to 2. And then they start learning to read things instead of being so robotic. And then
Yeah.
we throw in the offense and then we say, same concept, but now you're running 5 out or high post, whatever offense, or you're running in our 4 down sets. And now they start reading. And I tell them, our offense is a skeleton. Everything is instinctual. You guys are going to make me look better if you learn to read the backdoor cut, if you learn to you come off a screen and you fade or you curl and you're reading it and they're like, oh, that coach is really good. Well, no, the player is really good. I'm just giving you the structure, but now you're making the decision. And we'll go through 7 or 8 decisions that they can go. You can curl. You can fade out if he goes this way. If he goes over top, maybe you hit that corner. Or if he's really tight on you, then you cut him back door. So these are your options. And then in game, it's your choice to make that option. So at the
Yeah.
end of the day, we put the game in their hands and it's so much more fun for them than move the ball and I got to set the screen like this and this is the only option I have. Well, no, now you have 10 options, choose.
So that's been one of my not frustrations this year, but I think as coaches, probably as parents too, or teachers, we want our students, our players, our kids to learn quicker. We want them to master things faster, but everything just takes what it takes. And so with our 5-out flow in space with decisive cuts and aggressive drivings of double gaps, but under control, we've been working on that since day one. And they're getting it. Like I'm seeing it more and more because we played Shoemaker the other night and we scored 70. And Shoemaker's really athletic, really good, well coached, and we scored 70 points. We turned him over 26 times, and we were 4 for 24 from 3. Like we're getting there, and we're still scratching the surface of how offensively dynamic we can be. But my question to you is because I've seen the thinking and maybe the robotic nature when they catch it early on. How do you not get frustrated during that time and allow them to continue to experiment or try without just saying, "No, that's not it. We're just going to something different. You guys can't do this."
We've had some turnovers, like say off our sets where they make a good read and then we throw a bad pass. So I don't harp on that. I'll be like, hey, great cut. Now the focus is not the bad pass, right? And the guy that threw the bad pass knows he threw a bad pass because I said great cut. So I'm telling you, hey, make a better pass without telling you make a better pass. So then that gives you the freedom, I think, as a player to say, oh, he said great cut. So he noticed that I read it right, although we threw it away. And then the guy will make a better pass next time. And then I also tell the kids, like, you got to know who your personnel is. Like, if we run a set and we have a kid that can really throw, we have one guy that off our 4 down set, he can pass it really good. I said, then you go to that guy and he's going to make the pass. He's going to make the right read. Don't go to the other guy. Like, know who's where, I mean, you're not going to put your worst 3-point shooter in the corner and tell him go shoot the 3. So at the end of the day, it's just more being a little bit more positive with them so they can understand, like, okay, although it was a bad play or I made a good read. And then you're focused on the positive part instead of the negative part. And that way they just feel more free. And then again, the big focus that we've had this year is to let it go. Just move on to the next play. I said, if you throw the ball away and you're sprinting back and you're trying to get that ball back, I'm not pulling you out. Now, if you throw the ball away and you put your head down and you hit you go like this or whatever, I'm pulling you out not because you made a mistake, because your focus isn't on fixing it. Your focus is on the mistake itself, and you got to let that go. You got to make sure that you move forward. I'd rather if you throw it away, go play defense, create a bad shot, get the ball back, and come back this way. It's that simple. And then it creates that freedom of, okay, I made a mistake. I'm not going to harp on it. I'm going to go get a steal. I'm going to go get a good rebound. And the focus changes. And I tell them, look, I don't know, you did something right in the first quarter. I don't even remember what you did. I mean, you did something wrong in the first quarter. I don't even remember what I yelled at you about. I probably said, don't throw it away or whatever it is, but I don't remember anymore. I'm already focused in the third or fourth quarter. I can't continue focusing on what you did the first quarter. It's gone.
Right.
I said, so you just got to continuously move forward. And as a kid and a player, it's a lot harder, of course. But once they learn to do that, it changes their game tremendously.
I love to tell them that they can't be more mad at themselves than I am at them. If I'm not mad at you about something, you can't be mad about it then. And if I'm really mad about something, then maybe you can be a little bit mad, but you can't be more mad than I am at you. So at yourself. And so I like that kind of reminder. And then you're talking about KYP, know your personnel. I think good teams, smart players, and teams with good chemistry really know each other's strengths and put each other in positions to be successful. And terminology is really important with that. Like one of our phrases that we say is get dangerous, and that the most dangerous player needs to have the ball. And so when leather touches my fingertips and it's a live ball and we're flowing, I'm immediately assessing, no matter who it is there somebody more dangerous than me? If I'm a big and I get the rebound and one of our dynamic guards is open 10 feet away ahead of him, he's more dangerous. Got to get the ball there. And then when he gets it, he has to see, do I have a shooter in that corner that's more dangerous than me? If not, then I'm going to attack the world. And that's how, or the paint. And I think that's how we can get them thinking of, I am dangerous when I have it until there's somebody more. But then if we flip those two and my little playmaker gets the rebound and then my big is 10 feet away, he's not more dangerous than me with the ball. So I don't need to get it there. So like the idea that the open man always has to get it, maybe if they can do something with it there, like you said with the 4-out or the high post, is he open there? Yes. Is that where we really want the ball to go? Maybe not. But maybe that's the chemistry piece that your team, you have a freshman and a couple sophomores a year from now, 2 years from now, how connected are they going to be? Like they're just going to know where each other is. They're going to be able to communicate really well without even having to say a lot. That's going to be a lot of fun.
Yes. Yeah, we're looking forward to that. And, one thing that I convey and I tell them, I said, you got to play like a senior every year. Don't be like, well, I'm a sophomore. No, this team will never be together again. This one team will never,
That's
ever
a good
again
point.
be together. I said, and when I was a junior, I was going into my senior year, I was the top 3 player in our district. I didn't get to touch the court. I tore my ACL during football. I didn't get to play my senior year. And I tell them, I am very grateful that I never took it for granted my junior year because I had a great junior year. And I tell them, like, you never know what's going to happen. So every year you got to play like you're a senior. This is your senior year, man. And next year, okay, I'm back. This is my senior year because it's somebody's senior year and you want them to be successful.
That's a great point. I would imagine that's a story that you tell every year and is really impactful for them because you're right. I have a sophomore right now that's doing a lot of good things for us, but he's just scratching the surface of how good he's going to be. And he's going to do more and more a year from now, 2 years from now. But my sophomores and juniors that are playing, because we have a lot of those playing. And I wonder if there's a part of their mind of, well, it's not my last year. It's their last year, but not my last year. Man, and maybe I can do a better job of connecting them to what's the word? Urgency. We want everybody to have urgency like those seniors have. And because they're really seeing that light at the end of the tunnel. Your story is impactful because it shows just the fact that okay, I'm 44 years old, coach, and I may think, oh, in a year or two, I'll be in really good shape. Maybe. Like that's assuming I have those years, right? And as a player, you think, yeah, maybe not my sophomore year, but my junior, senior, I'll do that. Maybe, but what if that happens to you, something like that? Because these guys are active, playing all kinds of sports and on different teams and doing things, and man, just living without regret and taking advantage of the moment. That story, I think, really helps.
Yes. And it opens up doors also. Like We had a sophomore, 6'5" sophomore. He went up to Montana and he was in a tragic accident. His family was, and he lost his dad and his sister. And he never came back. He stayed up in Montana because they had family up there. And you never know, I mean, like he's a great kid. We were like, oh man, this kid in 3 years is gonna kill it and he's gonna be awesome. And we didn't get to. Now he's playing in Montana, of course, but it just shows you, and it shows my kids right now, like you don't know. You don't know if you're gonna be here next year. And I also use the other side of it. I said, think about it. Like the kid that had to step up, and he was a starter for me last year as a freshman. The kid that came in and is playing for him now, I said, look, when a door opens, you need to take advantage of that because now you're playing. And if this other kid was here, you might not be playing as much. So take advantage of what's given to you and don't take it for granted. And it's a huge thing. And I think at the end of the day, it's a life lesson for all of them to understand, like, hey, not everybody gets the promotion. Not everybody, when you applied for the head coaching job, I'm sure there was, 30, 20 applicants, and not everybody gets the job.
Somehow I tricked them, Coach. Somehow tricked
Oh, you're
them
doing a
into,
great job over there, coach. And, you
hey,
know,
go ahead.
and at the end of the day, you take the opportunity and you run with it.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
I think that's a great reminder too, based on what you just said about for us as coaches, we're talking about players not having regret and being all in and not thinking about the next year. I think we have to stay present too, because regardless of how good your year is going, how average or how you wish it could be better, that thought of this spring, this summer, next fall, what we need to do, it starts creeping in. I think even teams where we've made deep runs, I've started to think about how does this team look like? How next year? How do they fit? What JV guys? And that's not a bad thing to do, but just making sure that we are staying in this moment, giving this team because I love the point that you said that this team will never be together again after this year. It doesn't matter the guys you have coming back. And so, but I think coaching like that too. We want to get every last bit, every ounce out of this, and that's something I think I need to remember.
yes.
Coaches and athletic directors, Scoreboard Media is partnering with schools across the country to upgrade facilities, increase funding, and create meaningful student engagement through fully funded LED digital scoreboards. Now with custom score tables installed in just weeks, you can elevate your gym even faster at no cost. With a fully managed sponsorship program, your school receives consistent funding that goes directly to your students and programs. The result? Upgraded facilities, stronger school pride, and deeper connections with your community. Powered by Scoreboard Media. Email info@scoreboardmedia.com to get started. Coach, before I get you out of here, I've got a speed round, and this is going to be quick questions. The first thing that jumps out at you, go ahead and blurt it out. You ready?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Favorite ice cream flavor?
Chocolate.
Nice. Greatest shooter of all time?
Curry.
Yeah. But you paused. Who'd you want to say?
I think of Larry Bird. I'm a Lakers fan, but Larry Bird was killer.
It's so fun to hear the 80s and 90s players talk about Larry Bird and just the assassin, the trash talker, how skilled he was and how big he was. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that story where he says, I'm going to shoot every shot with my left hand. And he did, and he had like 40 points. And he's like, oh, it's because I'm saving my right one for the Lakers or something like that. I was like, oh, okay.
I love the one, too, where he walks into the three-point contest with his jacket on and just says, all right, who's coming in second?
Yeah.
Love that. Do you stand up or sit down more during games?
To tell you the truth, I squat a little bit. I try to squat at the end of the bench, but I don't sit. I don't sit at all. So I'm either running up and down the sideline or I'm squatting.
Squatty. I'm a squatter. I squat. Yeah. And until my back goes out, I'll keep squatting.
Yes.
Top 3 dinner guests, any time period, and can be out of sports.
Top 3 dinner guests. I think Barack Obama, for sure. I would love to just speak with him, and he was a basketball guy.
Yeah.
I would love to have Bo Jackson in there.
Good one.
Yes.
Yeah. Great documentary on him. One of those 30 for 30s.
Yes.
Like all the myths about him that were actually, and then they kind of uncovered the true story, but that were pretty close to what people said. Pretty cool.
Yeah. And then I'm a Falcons fan. And the reason I'm a Falcons fan and I love coaching, it was Jerry Glanville. I love the way he was on the sideline. And I feel like the players just love that guy. So I would really love to pick his brain.
Like that. Best basketball movie of all time.
Best basketball movie of all time, I would say I really enjoy Coach Carter.
Yeah. It's a good one. For high school basketball or high school, shot clock or no shot clock?
Shot clock. I would love to see it. I do hold the ball a little bit too long sometimes when we're up,
Well, you
but
can,
if there was a
right? Like
shot
you
clock,
can.
yeah, if there was a shot clock, I would love we could put in more sets, like college sets type style, where it's
Yeah.
quick hitters. And I do tell the kids, I do not want to go over 30 seconds moving the ball. So you got to have a shot clock in your head.
Yeah, I think it'll make the last 2 to 3 minutes way more entertaining, especially when there's a 4 to 8 point lead. Because you can think right now, if you're an offensively a really good team with good guards that can shoot free throws, with 2 minutes left and you're up 6 or 8 points, you got it. Like,
Game's
there's really
over.
nothing they can do unless you turn it over or miss free throws, but you can just go like, we have a good delay game that I like. We haven't got to exercise it much this year. We've been on the other side of it trying to claw, but, I'm excited for that where an 8-point deficit isn't
You
isn't
could play
that
defense.
huge of a mountain. You can still play and not have to go extreme gamble. Just hey guys, 2 stops in a row and we cut this thing, like that's I'm excited for that.
Yeah, I really believe the shot clock would. I mean, a lot of these boys want to go play college. Well, put in a shot clock, and
Yeah,
it makes coaching a lot different. Like now, you're really executing, and you're doing certain things that can happen. Also, on the other side, you're down 70-40, and that coach feels uncomfortable shooting. Maybe it's like, oh, I don't want to run up the score. We're killing them. Well, guess what? If there's a shot clock, there's nothing he can do, and he can continue
that's
playing
right.
his game. So
Yeah, that's a good
it
point.
works both
Yeah,
ways. And me,
yeah.
if I'm the one losing or they're losing, then they understand. I'm not trying to run up the score. We're trying to play a game.
We're not gonna take a turnover every possession just because we're beating you bad. Like,
Yes, exactly.
yeah, that's good. Do players sit the rest of the first half with 2 fouls?
No, not even with three.
I like that. 4? 4, we get them out?
Maybe four. Maybe four. Maybe
Yeah,
four. I have played. I don't think I've had many come out with four,
yeah, that's
So
extreme, but 3, yeah.
if it's my best player, I might change defenses, put him in a place where he really just boxes out, utilize him, move him to the worst player. I mean, something like that where he's really not playing defense.
Yeah,
But I have played in 2022. We were at a playoff game, and my best player had 4 fouls in the third quarter. And I played him, and he ended up fouling out almost at the end of the third. But it was a playoff game, and I was like, I wasn't gonna sit back. And he knows, and I trusted him. He was my son too, and I trusted him, and he understood.
nice.
Like
Yeah,
it is what it is, and you gotta
yeah.
know not to take that risk at that point. You know.
I like that idea though too, because I think we can in the fear of him getting his foul, the game can come out of reach in that amount of time depending on who you're playing. And then, maybe there's a little bit of a score component to it and momentum of like, "Hey, we're up 8. We can steal a little bit of time here. Hey, we're losing momentum. Let's get him back in now. Let's push it." And so it's hard to have a hard, fast rule about it, I think. But, no, it's good. Favorite holiday?
Favorite holiday? I would say Christmas. I really enjoy Christmas. Kids come in and we hang out. It's fun.
Yeah. What book would you give someone?
Gone with a Wind to my wife.
Nice. Can
Yes.
you can you share a little bit about that?
She just loves that book. It's her favorite book, and she really likes the hardbacks, so I would like to. I've shopped around for a really, really nice one, but not yet.
Not yet. Yeah. Favorite place to
If my wife doesn't have a choice, I would go to the beach. I would go to Cancun, or if she has a choice, we're going up to Boston or somewhere in the
That's
mountains.
different.
Yes.
That's different.
She loves the mountains. I love the beach. So we usually go to
I'm
the
with
mountains,
you.
of course.
That's right. Yeah. Once every 5 years, you get to go to the beach. Luckily, my wife loves the beach like I do. We love to go to Hawaii, but if she was a mountain girl, man, yeah, it'd be tough. I'd go and I'd try to find a good spot, but man, I'm not a big hiker. I'm not. Two more. If who in basketball, who is the GOAT as a player?
Michael Jordan.
That's right.
Without a doubt. I mean, and maybe because we got to watch him play. I got to watch him play live against the Spurs too. We went to a game when the year he was retiring, and I mean, just the stuff he did was just incredible. I mean, with less resources, now we have
Yeah.
video
Yeah.
and I mean, all sorts of machines and the recovery period, and he was something else. And I didn't like him when he played because I'm a Lakers fan. But now I look back and I'm blessed that I got to see him on TV and got to see him live because now that I'm
Something
more of
rare
a
for
fan of
sure.
basketball instead of just one team. Man,
Yep.
it was great.
Last one. If this was your last year of coaching, what would you do more of?
I think I'd have more team meals so I could, just be with my team and really enjoy talking to them outside of the basketball arena, get to know them and, just really enjoy that last year and make it really memorable. It'd
Good.
be a selfish thing because they like the team dinners, but they don't want to have them all the time, So I think I would just overdo it with the team stuff and just to enjoy my boys and
All
my
right, we got
coaching
5
staff.
team dinners this week, and, we
Yeah,
got
yeah, exactly.
That's good.
So
Well, coach, this is so enjoyable, and it was an honor to get to, play against you and get to kinda watch your guys and how hard they work, how coachable they are, and then to have this time with you. This is one of the main reasons why I do this is to get to reach out to other high school coaches, get to know them a little bit more, learn from them, but make these connections because I think you feel the same way. It's really special, what we get to do, so thank you so much for this.
yes, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me, and it was an honor to be down there and play against great competition. You guys are doing an amazing job over there at Waco Midway. I know you guys. I don't know if you guys still have that tournament in the holidays, but it might be something that keep me in mind, man.
Coach, if you send me a text or an email, I will get your name down because we're trying to get the MT Rice is something that I inherited, and this year was the 64th year. We had 9 teams, and I think I got here a little bit late, and there was some teams that bouncing in and out. The goal is to get it to 16, and for next year, but to start to build it up again to where it's something that people look forward to. It's right in the middle of Texas, kind of like Georgetown. I think that's a great location too, the Jack Frost, but love to have you. And so, yeah, send me a text or email and we'll get that done because we're going to get it back to being something really fun.
I would love to, and I mean, at the end of the day, I want my boys to go see. Like when we were down in Georgetown, we went to UT. We went to a girls' game. They were playing down there, I think,
Yeah.
against North Carolina.
We got a pretty good school here in town,
Yes.
coach, in Baylor. So we could, yeah,
I used to go
get you there.
to, oh man, what's the school? It's right outside, right outside Waco, 4A school. They have a tournament down there. And we used to go with Sanelli. And then we would take the kids to go see Baylor. And we actually we drove into UT for a game. So it was really, really nice. I love Waco. It's super
Yeah.
nice. So, and I like my kids just going into Texas and seeing something different,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and we love representing El Paso. We're kind of in the middle of tip of nowhere, but we love going down there and really representing our district, Isleta and El Paso schools. And I think we really have a good thing going over here with the coaches and the schools. They're really coming around and basketball's really growing. So I would love to go down there and really represent us again.
I think you're right on the money with the kind of basketball and the coaches that you have. I had Coach Brooks on from the Americas a couple years ago. That's the correct name, Coach
Yes,
Brooks?
sir. Brooks.
Yeah, and it was really fun getting to know him and sitting out with you. Yeah, there's great coaches everywhere. Basketball in Texas, I feel like, is in a good spot, and but yeah, we'll keep growing the game like we're doing. Good luck the rest of this district year, and hope to stay in touch with you, Coach.
Yes, sir. Thank you. And good luck to you too, man. Make a run, make a push. Let's do it.
Right, we got this. Keep running and gunning, and we catch fire, man, we can beat anybody. That's the goal.
Yes, sir.
Coaches, want proof your players are working? Bology tracks every shot and generates workouts on the spot. No more guesswork. Train smarter today. Download the free Bology app. Thank you for checking out today's episode. Please take a moment to subscribe to this podcast, share it with your fellow coaches, and find us on social media for what's coming up next on the JAMODI Podcast. It's just a matter of doing it.